It's okay? Can you hear me? Perfect. So welcome everybody to One Health Research Infrastructures panel. The last but not the least panel of the day. I have the pleasure to present our speakers from Romania and abroad. We will start in the order that will allow Ms. Natalia Belk to actually run also to the other panel. It is happening that we need her extensive expertise in both of them. So without further introduction, let's start. Ms. Natalia Belk is the General Manager of the National and Research and Development Institute for Food Bioresources. Welcome. Please present yourself and your infrastructure. Oh, take a seat next to the ladies. It's a panel. Okay. Yeah, it's better.
My institute is, in fact, a food research. No,
it's not working. It's the other one. Yeah, no.
No. So my institute, in fact, is a food research institute. We are working for in 4 directions for research: food technologies, food safety, food nutrition, and consumer sciences and sensory analysis. What I want to say, our institute is a member of Metro Food Research Infrastructure, which is a pan-European research infrastructure with 10 countries participating and 52 research teams. This research infrastructure is coordinated by ENEA. ENEA is an institute of research, but very big one, more than 2,000 people in Italy. And we work together since 2015 to develop this research infrastructure, which is in concentrated for the food and health domain. Is in S3 Roadmap 2018 in food and health domain. And this infrastructure has 2 branches, one for physical infrastructure, laboratories, fields for experiment, pilot plants and so on, and virtual infrastructure, digital one, with a lot of databases in order to bring data from the ground, but also from our research teams, 52 as I said, in order this data to be interoperable and to work with this data for different, from different perspectives and for different projects. I had a presentation, but I don't know.
Yes, it is. Could you please start the presentation? They received it. Yeah. Yeah.
Almost
you already
said something from my presentation, but I only wanted to precise that yes, my institute is a representative of national node of research, this research infrastructure. Go further.
Next, please.
I can, okay, okay. So, but firstly to begin, what means One Health? One Health approach, in fact, is interconnected domain between animal-human environment interfaces, and you can find in World Health Organization website, you can find 6 topics important for One Health approach. Food safety is the first one. control of zoonotic diseases, laboratory services, neglected tropical disease, environmental health, and antimicrobial resistance. When I say metro food research infrastructure, it's about metrology and food. We know that many times in food and health domain, the analysis come with some errors. Errors because the substances, especially in food, for example, are in very, very small quantity. And this small quantity can be very harmful, but can be very benefit. But we should test it with accuracy. And metro food is metrology that trying to improve the quality of measurements in food area, but not only in food, also in health area. We know sometimes it happens to make clinical analysis and to blood and to find something wrong, and it was not wrong at all. Because the analysis sometimes are not very well done, but this was the perspective from starting this metro food research infrastructure, especially for accuracy, for quality of measurements. But of course, in food safety, for example, we have some substances, and many of you knows that dioxin or acrylamide, dioxin is at the level of piconanograms and is very harmful in these very small quantities. So the results should be very, very good measured. In fact, we want to close two systems, food system and health system, because we know that food is very important for our health, and sometimes many research journals, many research articles say that food is participating in the health status with over 70–75% as importance. I show you here the countries involved in Metro Food RI and the website of this infrastructure, and to enter better, to be more active in Metro Food RI at the European level, we are building, in fact the second project of consolidation of Metro Food Romania, with 9 partners at the national level, and all these organizations, research organizations, universities and institutes are included in Metro Food RI. What I want to say that we are participating in a project, Fairy Tale. In 2 days we will have a project meeting in Romania, and in Fairy Tale it's about micro and nanoplastics, you know, that are very important and also harmful for the health, coming from packaging. And in this project, 4 research infrastructures at European level are involved in order to identify the best logistic and the best methodology to detect these micro and nanoplastic, and in order to take measures to take measures against them, in fact, through different strategies, but also with some methodologies, for example, through biotechnologies, in order to clean the water, especially which is full of microplastics. Also, speaking about One Health, we have a project at national level about One Health, because One Health is very wide concept, but to know if the One Health is implemented, we should identify criteria, determinants, some indicators, the progress of One Health implementation to be measured in a way. So we have a project financed by Ministry of agriculture to identify some criteria, indicator, and determinants that are influencing a food, for example, to be named One Health, to be produced in One Health environment, to be produced in One Health concept. One Health also has a history in our country, because in 2015 we founded the association, which is active, and it's working very nice. The roots of this association is since 60 years, but now the association changed the name, One Health Academician Nicolae Manolescu Strunga Association, and we had a lot of conferences, a lot of visible and events to, in fact, to aware about this One Health concept, which is not so well understood. And in 3 November, it's One Health Day, not forget, and it's a site at global level, which in fact identify different events that are organized in that day. And also, without One Health and Metro Food together, we participated last year in United Nations General Assembly, and we had a speech there about One Health and our research infrastructure, Metro Food RI.
Thank you very much, Ms. Belek. Wow. So we have, as you can see, because this One Health topic is something that EU4Health wants to finance in the future. This is the future of health, actually, based on the concept One Health. And it's very important to see that we do have in Romania such an infrastructure with so much experience. I will take the opportunity to address you one question, and then you can go, but we wait you back. We'll be very... How do you think that we can better align academic, industry, and technological sector to maximize the impact of shared One Health infrastructure? Shared One Health. Microphone, please.
Our infrastructure is a distributed infrastructure, and we should share, in fact, our result, our achievements, but taking into account One Health approach, we should think firstly for food safety, in our opinion, and secondly in measurements in laboratory as World Health Organization.
Are we allowed to use your infrastructure? If we are a market operator who wants to develop, let's say, products under the One Health concept, are you allowed to use your infrastructure?
Yes, we in fact we have already a catalog of services, and these services are very visible in our website, and already we are working for different services that we are done for different organizations. We had requests from Africa, for example. We have requests from countries that are not in European Union, to help them with different issues, to solving some problems. So we have a very good list of services, very well defined, and we are working together. Different organizations from different countries, spreading our samples, for example, in different countries, and why we can something to do from Germany and other things, and then we, yes.
So this is the benefit of the network. We are actually satisfying the client needs regardless the position of the infrastructure. Thank you very much, Ms. Belk. I will now give the floor to Mr. Jacques Demont, who is Director General European Clinical Research Infrastructure Network. He's online. He's not yet. Okay, so then we move further to Sandra Eremia, no? Or Ms. Lițescu, which one of you from the National Institute for Science and Biology, for Biological Science? Yes, you? Okay, Ms. Balk, you can. Okay, we wait for you here.
It is working? Yeah.
Yeah, it is working.
So I'm starting with a presentation of another research infrastructure that is an icon of the research in Romania and aims to bring added value to the knowledge. And I will speak a little bit about Danubiu-Sarai. That is itself research infrastructure distributed with four main thematic nodes: observation node, impact node, analytical node, and modulation node, and is addressing the continuum of river-sea system, but even the impact of this kind of ecosystem in the human health. It is structured in two thematics, main thematics. First is addressing life sciences, and here is the link point with the One Health approach, due to the fact that this research infrastructure is aiming to contribute using transdisciplinary approach to the One Health concept, since we have in our teams that are about 15 countries, we have physicians, we have chemists, we have biologists, we have biochemists, we have specialists in bioinformatics and big data, able to integrate the existing knowledge and to provide new knowledge regarding the impact of the status of the ecosystem toward anthropic positions and toward human health. And the second main idea is, or second main direction that is addressed, is that of climate change. This new research infrastructure became generic in June 2025, so we are a bit young, but we hope that we will contribute in developing new standards due to the fact that inside of Danubiu-Sarai it is not only a catalog of services, but even a structured system of standards that are trying to comply with what is new or what should be developed in matter of analytical metrological approaches in order to have the comparable results all over Europe. The main laboratories are positioned in United Kingdom, France, Italy, Hungary, Romania, of course, and Netherlands.
Okay.
So.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lițescu. I would like to give the floor to Harald. Yeah. To speak a bit, about their project in order
Can I
to...
have the slides?
Yes. Just a second.
Yeah. So many menus.
Great. No? Super. Thanks a lot. Flaviana, thank you very much for the invitation so that we can connect here. I'm representing Repo4U. That's a very unusual platform project by the European Union on systems medicine and drug repurposing. And this will run until 29, and thereafter we want to convert it into new European infrastructure for systems medicine and One Health. So why systems medicine? So in the moment you think this is how biomedical research works, or translational medicine. You need basic science, you need preclinical science, and eventually there are clinical trials and then patient benefit. However, it has been analyzed by one of the probably the most famous statistician from Ioannidis from Stanford University, that this actually does not happen. They have analyzed 25,000 publications in the top biomedical journals: Nature, Cell, Science, JCI, PNAS, JBC. What has come out of these papers for human health? So of these 25,000 papers, there were about 450 claims that could be new. About 100 were tested in the clinic. About 25 were marginally positive. 11 were patented. 5 were licensed. And at the time of the paper, after 10 years, they thought one license was still in use. Of 25,000 publications, one was probably in use. The reason for that is there is no incentive for biomedical scientists to actually think about patient benefit in what we're doing. What biomedical scientists are judged upon is how many publications do you have? With those you get new funding, and what you do with this funding? You create new publications. This is what careers are built on. How much grant income do you have? How many papers? No one measures, does at any time point any patient benefit come from all your work in those many, many years? And this is called the valley of death. There is no translation in the majority of biomedical research. For instance, over 50% of biomedical publications are not reproducible. Over 50%. So, which gesture do you want me to do to advance? You can't. I can't. I have to. You didn't take the PowerPoint file. You took a PDF. Why didn't you take the PowerPoint? No, yeah, okay, good. Yeah. So, one of the mistakes that we have done in medicine is that we have split up the human body organ by organ by organ. Understandable. So, for every organ, we have a clinic, a clinician, and a research discipline. So we have neurology, the neurologist, neuroscience. Cardiology, cardiologist, cardiovascular research. So we really believe by looking at one organ, whatever we see there is the disease. Whatever the patient has in any other organ has nothing to do with my disease in my organ. I send him to another specialist, let him take care about the skin problems or the GI problems. This is my disease, I define it in my organ. Rare diseases, monogenetic rare diseases, the simplest form of a disease shows us already that this is fundamentally wrong. Patients with a rare disease very often have symptoms in 2, 3, 4, 5 organs. So the simplest form of a disease shows us already that this concept is understandable, that it was sort of formed. Somehow you need to categorize medical knowledge. No doctor can memorize all diseases in all organs. But it's a dead end. It will lead us nowhere. So, and the human brain cannot manage this. So, next slide. A landmark paper was from Laszlo Barabashi, where he worked on all human diseases and all human risk genes, something a human brain could never do. So the color code on the right is, as I said, this organ-based ontology that we use in medicine. And here are all human diseases. The size of a node shows how many risk genes are associated with that disease. But shown are only those genes, like for instance this one here, that is a risk gene in 3 diseases, so it links those 3 diseases somehow. And if you plot all diseases and all shared risk genes, you end up with a scale-free network. And what it shows is that the diseases are not equally distributed, but they form little clusters. And they form clusters when they share a lot of risk genes. They are like glue between them. So what we do in systems medicine, we turn this entire concept of medicine around. What we now call diseases are for us just symptoms or phenotypes. They're not the diseases anymore. The diseases we want to extract out of these shared risk genes. There must be the answer, what is the cause of the disease? Of most diseases, we don't know the causes. Hypertension, asthma, inflammatory bowel disease, psoriasis. No one knows the answer. So we treat symptoms. But if you can't cure something, something becomes chronically symptomatic. So that's why we have so many chronic diseases. We can't cure diseases in the moment. Next. So we combine this for speed with drug repurposing. You skip about 10 years of the development process. In an ideal case in Repo4U, you go as fast as possible into a clinical trial by taking a drug that is already on the market and use it sometimes even for a new target and a new indication. And we went to the EMA Innovation Task Force, and they said in many cases we may directly go to a phase 2 trial. And they also said the predictive power, we know that the predictive power of phase 3 trials, the holy grail of regulatory trials, is actually very poor. The German regulators have analyzed that 2/3 of the drugs that were better than standard of care in phase 3, later in real-world patients were not better than standard of care, because phase 3 trials very often take hand-picked patients, no comorbidity and so forth, and in real world they have different ages, and of course they have comorbidities. Next. So basically we leave this concept, we move to an entirely new concept how to do biomedical research, namely data-driven. There is a vast majority of available human data that we use with new approaches to bioinformatics, for which I don't have the time to go into the detail, and we try to stay as long as possible with human data and patients. We hardly do any animal work anymore. The main wet lab work that we do is are diagnostics in addition to drug repurposing. Because let's say disease like hypertension probably has 10, 15 different causes. So if we want to treat now a specific subtype of hypertension, a specific mechanism, we need to have a diagnostic that pulls out those patients that really have this mechanism and treat only those patients with a drug that cure that mechanism. So this it's almost the hardest work that we have to develop those diagnostics for those clinical trials. Next. So, and in this research infrastructure, the operations hub will be in Germany, the Brandenburg Institute of Systems Medicine. There is an S3 roadmap, as you know, and we have 3 countries committed, 3 are in preparation. We already started with node meetings. Ignosis has just released the alpha platform where this entire workflow is basically online available. All tools are online available. You can actually work on the platform. And we have an annual scientific conference, the Rexpo, but I'll show you, we also have a policy issue. The last mile, the reimbursement is for us a huge issue. And of course, we want to be synergistic. We focus on these investigator-initiated phase 2 trials, the early ones. For multinational ones, we would collaborate with ECRIN because of our data intensity. Of course, Elixir is a natural collaborator. Then, because it's for us so essential to have these diagnostics, we pre-evaluate all diagnostic in cross-sectional longitudinal biobanks to test what is the prevalence of that mechanism. Then, if we could not find a repurposable drug for a target, hasn't happened yet, there is EU OpenScreen for us to screen on targets. And if for instance, the repurposable drugs have too many side effects, the possible gain is also not sure, then we will probably go back to genetically defined animal and cell models supplied by InfraFrontier. So I think we fill a gap, and we will be highly synergistic in those other really research-driven European research infrastructures. Next. Yeah, and this is how this platform looks like. Everything that I mentioned, from bioinformatics to what is an IP strategy, what are regulatory strategies, how to design those clinical trials, because they're usually low numbers, adaptive trials, so new trial formats and so forth. And how do I bring it in the end to the patient? All of this is in there. Whichever stakeholder you are, whether you're a basic scientist or clinician, or whether you are a small company, everything for you here, open access. But reimbursement is an issue. And that's a policy issue. Because in every European country, the dogma is get the cheapest price for a drug. What if I now find for a drug a new therapy that is, or a disease that is not treatable in the moment? You can't just say, I only reimburse you what this drug costs now. The regulations force the health technology agencies to do that, but this will totally block this innovation. We will be left only with new compounds that become increasingly expensive. So therefore we started this policy event series in Brussels. We know it will take a while, but when everything changes in medicine and the concepts, then also the regulations and the legal aspects of how drugs are approved and how they are reimbursed needs to change. Otherwise, it will also become unaffordable, our healthcare systems. Next. So these are the 2 levels of the platform. What all research infrastructures do, you can team up with us for European funding. However, we have lots of interest, in particular from generic companies. They have usually no research, they have production, but they have no research. So they are, for us, the ideal partners to combine drugs, bring them in a new formulation, also for new indications. So we have already interest there. And of course, we have our own patents, which we then license or even start companies. And those revenues will feed back into the research for all the members. So we have a little bit more potential income streams than the average European infrastructure. And because all of this, there will be no fees. Some infrastructures charge fees to join. In our case, we will not charge fees. Next. So the call to action is engage, join the network. identify in Romania, for instance, what are your national strengths in that, universities, clusters, SME, so that we shape together this new element of the European research infrastructure. Down here is an email that you can contact going forward to meet you. I met already some who are interested. Thank you.
Thank you. This was Mr. Harald Schmidt, professor and head of Department of Pharmacology and Personalized Medicine, Faculty of Health, Medicine and Life Sciences, Maastricht University. I'm sorry I didn't present it you
No worries,
at the beginning, because we know each other. I said, okay, they don't know.
The project counts.
Yeah, thank you very much. We will take another presentation, Miss Manuela Baniciu. Yeah? Yes, I changed the order. Professor, Interim Dean of Faculty of Medical and Health Sciences, Babeș-Bolyai University.
His warm regards. Okay, so if you can put my presentation. I represent today Babeș-Bolyai University. So everybody knows that is the largest university from Romania. Before to present our strategic infrastructure related to One Health approach, I would like to present you shortly our vision regarding One Health approach. So if you can please change the slide. Yeah, I don't know, probably it's easier if I can use. No, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, so due to the comprehensive profile of our university, so we have 23 faculties ranging from faculty of social sciences, life sciences to technology. Our vision on One Health is based on multidisciplinary strength of our university. So, based on this vision, to build One Health approach in our university, we provide the strategic infrastructure, and also we build framework for collaboration that foster collaboration between academic people from our university that work on health, and also we continuously develop our human resources for health research and also for health research management. So I could say we created an environment, and on this environment we launched this year Faculty of Medical and Health Sciences, and I am interim dean of this faculty. So briefly, strategic infrastructure in our university is coordinated by STAR UBB Institute. So this institute oversees this infrastructure and also enable accessibility, public accessibility to this infrastructure, and also integrates this infrastructure in international networks of infrastructure. So here I'm presenting you our strategic infrastructure related to One Health. So briefly, we have 4 platforms related to this approach. First one, Actris, is related to environmental health. And also it contains systems for aerosol and also cloud remote sensing, and so this infrastructure is connected with European infrastructure, Actris, and it's also in the national roadmap of research infrastructure. We have also platform Skyra and Matrix. These are two platforms are dedicated to psychotherapy and mental health, and these are also accepted by Merrill, Mapping European Research Infrastructure Landscape. Actually, this infrastructure was first Romanian social sciences infrastructure accepted by Merrill. And we have Info Bio-Nano for Health platform. This is a multidisciplinary platform consisting of equipment for molecular biology and also everything that is needed for physicochemical characterization and preparation of biomaterials, nanostructures. The main aim of using of this infrastructure is to develop tools for human and also environmental health, and is also included in Romanian roadmap infrastructure since 2021. And the latest acquisition of our university is Inspire platform. So this platform consisted in high field MRI systems and also ultra high field MRI system. Actually, ultra high field MRI system is unique in Eastern Europe, and also, of course, is dedicated to do advancing in imaging, not only in neuroimaging but also in oncology, cardiology, psychology research. Yeah, I can stop here. I also prepared something about our approach related how to foster collaboration in our university, just because today we talk a lot about collaboration and connection, and that's why we have this School of Health in our university that actually it's a framework of collaboration between researchers from different faculties. So we have different sections, like a section dedicated to mental health, another one dedicated to oncology and also inflammatory disorders, another one to public health, and we have also transversal sections like UBB-MET STEM, which and also that support the first three sections, and in which there are also people from university that work in bioinformatics, big data analysis, and also biomedical engineering. And also we have section UBB-MET Ethics and Social that deals with ethical and also social phases of the health. Okay, so, and the last but not least, I just wanted to present you our project, widening project that is coordinated by our university and is implemented in European Alliance of Universities from so Utopia Alliance. So this is a project for human capacity building in health research and also in management of the health research. Okay, so yeah, that's all. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation. Very interesting. I didn't know that you have so many infrastructures. I didn't know just some of them. It's good. I will take the advantage that Mr. Demo is present online. So I will give the floor to Jacques Demo, the Director General of European Clinical Research Infrastructure Network. Mr. Demo, you have the word. Please start. Do you have a PowerPoint? Or it's no, it's an open.
Sorry for being late because I entered the teleconference. I'm sorry first of all for not being with you, and second I'm also also sorry for being late because I didn't consider the time difference between Romania and Paris. So I'm really sorry. I will just summarize in a nutshell what ECRIN is about. ECRIN stands for European Clinical Research Infrastructure Network. It is one of the S3 roadmap research infrastructure, and our mission is to support multinational clinical trials in Europe, meaning that we support the sponsors more than the investigator in the trial management task, because there is a deficit in the sponsor capacity, and especially for the academic sponsor, but also for the SME sponsor, there is a deficit in their capacity to manage the trial in foreign countries. So ECRIN is a federation of clinical trial units. We have a network of about 130 clinical trial units in 13 different countries, and just by coordinating the activities performed by the clinical trial unit, we are able to support the sponsor. For instance, if there is a trial whose sponsor is the University of Hamburg in Germany, it's possible to activate clinical trials unit in Spain, in France, or in Italy, or in Romania tomorrow to be able to support the management of the trial. And the services we provide are mostly generic, meaning non-disease specific services, in terms of getting the approval by ethics committee, the approval by competent authority, monitoring the trial, performing the vigilance reporting, data management, and data sharing. These are the main services, and of course we coordinate these services because the coordination is key for the success of clinical trials. So to be able to provide this panel of services, we need also some tools. So we have developed a series of tools, of procedures, of partnership to facilitate clinical trials. For instance, we have developed a regulatory and ethical database called RED that can be found from our website, where you can find all that is required to get approval from ethics committee and competent authority for clinical trials in Europe, clinical trials on medicinal product, clinical trials on medical device, but also the observational studies or the clinical studies with procedural intervention. So this is in a nutshell the main activity of ECRIN. In terms of country, as I mentioned, we have 13 member countries from north to south: Norway, Germany, Ireland, France, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Greece, Portugal, Spain, Italy. I don't think I forgot any of them. And we would love to have also Romania with us for many reasons, but including not only the scientific expertise, but also the population size, because Romania is one of the largest missing countries in our consortium. So thank you, and I'm happy to participate in the panel discussion later on. Thank you very much.
We thank you too. I have a question though, since we managed to connect. I would like to ask you, from your opinion, how can EU4Health program improve funding and policy in order to better support the development and maintenance of the shared research infrastructure?
Okay, thank you. I think it's a good question. In fact, there is funding coming from DG Research and Technological Development, DG RTD, which is the Horizon Europe program. And I must say that most of the trials we support are funded through this Horizon Europe program. But the health directorate has also put in place the funding sources, and I think in our area it's particularly important in two areas. The first one is for the rare disease, meaning that there was a substantial funding for the structuring of the rare disease network, the so-called ERNs, and even the structuring of the ERN includes something that will facilitate the development of clinical trials in the area where there are treatments to be tested. And the second point is European Health Data Space Initiative, which is something extremely important for us for the time being, because, you know, the EHDS regulation was adopted by the European Commission and the Parliament earlier this year, but it will be implemented by March 2029, and it will offer a new and harmonized framework for sharing the clinical trial data and also for reusing the electronic health record for clinical studies, meaning for cohort or for clinical trials. And this is something very new, and we have very high expectation, and this is an initiative that was supported by the DG Health.
Thank you very much. Anyone else has an opinion about this? How can we improve? What needs should we address to you for health? For distributed infrastructure? Okay. If no one else wants to add something, I will give the floor to Mr. Bogdan Tamba, Professor Bogdan Tamba, to present from University of Medicine and Pharmacology in Iași. Grigore Popa.
Thank you all for staying up so late. It's been a long day, so thank you for your patience. If I can have the presentation. So initially I was thinking to talk a little about the infrastructure, but then listening to the panel I realized that it's not about the infrastructures, it's about sustainability, and we like to talk so much about sustainability for the environment, sustainability for the healthcare system, sustainability for the animals, for the humankind. Well, I'd like to challenge you to think about the sustainability of our researchers and the sustainability of our infrastructures, because is there? Yeah, it should work, I hope, because the story of CEMEX is of course always there's yeah, we have a new logo inspired by the Infinity Column. It's a lab that was funded close to 50 years ago, which passed through various stages of developments, and in 2022 we had the new, well, in 2016 we reopened it and so on. This is the old lab. I'll pass through the photos because I want to focus on the sustainability thing. This is me a very, very long time ago when my mentor and my professor was pushing me to challenge and everything that was going on. Had a nice tablet when I was going out of his office, and written in chalkboard was "Think big." That was the only message that he wanted me to leave out of the room. So I thought big, mostly because of him, and this is the lab after. So we're doing a lot of stuff. Basically, it's a one-stop shop. We function on two pillars, both as a core facility for the University of Medicine in Iași, but also we work as a fee-for-service. So basically anybody can access, to answer Flaviana's question, yes, anybody can access the infrastructure for various purposes. We have a BSL-2 facility. We have another one which we developed. It's a BSL-3, so biosafety level. So basically we can also do, let's say, infectious disease models, metabolic research, because it's interesting. This is just numbers, but this is getting me to the sustainability issue. So I think that what we see today is a divide between North and South, East and West in Europe. So if you look at Harald, he comes in and says, listen, basically this is what I got from his presentation. Western Europe has spent billions and billions and tens of billions in infrastructures and research, and there is very little to show off at the end of the day for the patients, right? We, on the other hand, now in Eastern Europe, especially in Romania, we've been flooded, literally. I hope the DG Euro is not listening. We've been flooded with money for infrastructures. So Iași alone is sitting on probably 150 to 200 million euros in fresh infrastructures in the last 5 to 10 years. The same goes for Bucharest, the same goes for Cluj. But how do we translate those things into sustainable issues, into sustainable matters, which actually will impact the society, will impact the voter, will impact the patient? And I think this is the tricky part. part. What we do at CEMEX is not, we do not focus on how fancy the equipments we have, is we focus on how fancy the researchers we have and how fancy the things we do for anybody who gives us a call. So people normally say, so how can we access CEMEX? I say, just send an email. And then the whole process will follow. Either you're a volunteer, undergrad, postgrad, or if you're a small startup, a small SME, or you're a multinational or a VC capital. So yeah, this is the new website. This is some of the companies. So you can be a venture capital fund from the US. The process starts easy. You just send an email, and then the whole process follows. So I think this should be the lesson for today. We need to invest not in infrastructures, we need to invest in people, but we need to invest smart. And then if you go to Naples University, which I did, I think, 2 years ago, Naples had a lot of money coming in the 80s, 90s. And it's still the same equipment now, right? So nothing, in economics terms, it's called the middle income country trap, which I think where Romania is happily going to end in the end, if we don't change the paradigm. Basically, we're going to end as the south of Europe, Italy, Spain, Greece, Portugal, which had a lot of investments in infrastructures when they accessed European Union, but those results did not translate into actual sustainable matters. I would take Belgium, for example, in terms of highways. So Belgium, they borrowed money, built highways in the 50s and 60s and said, well, when, you know, this will be a lot of economic development and so on. It turns out they paid the money back, but now they don't have the money to repair the highways. So if you go to Belgium, the highways are not very good, except if you go out of Brussels, or if you go out of Brussels. The same happens to Romania. So we borrow money or we get the money to build highways. Will that translate to economic development? This is the challenge that we see, because in 20 years the highways will need repairs. The equipments that we have, the fancy MRI I have or my colleagues have, will need to be replaced. And there will be no more 10 million euros from nobody coming and giving it to us for free just because we exist and we're at the border of Europe. That will be in Ukraine, that will be in Georgia, God knows where. But we need to make it sustainable. We need to generate revenues. And the only thing, and unfortunately, Harold was the only one who mentioned, we need the private environments. We're cannibalizing ourselves in European Union, east, west, north and south. We're cannibalizing in front of Brussels to get more money or to get some money for the grants. But that's not the main source of income if you look at the North American universities. So 60–70% of the North American universities' income come from private industries. They don't fight on NIH funds. NIH funds is just for peanuts. The big money comes from the big companies. This is what we need to focus on. And I would encourage the floor, I would encourage Flaviana to bring more companies here. Not just us, the researchers, and not just European Union. We need the companies to come and say, listen, like Harold said, we need the SMEs, not only the SMEs. We don't need just the generic companies. We need the Pfizers and the Roche and the Lillys and whatnot. So I'm not, marketing anybody, but we need the big companies in biotech, in pharma, to come and use these infrastructures, because that's the only way to be sustainable. And that, I rest my case. Thank you.
This is also a reality check for our research. Is it relevant? Companies are not interested in what we're doing.
Actually, they have, but you already know that the American companies as shareholders cannot be part of clusters. It's against their policy. We do have connections with some of the names we mentioned, and you have been referred to. So they are not here to see them today, but you already benefit from this type of connections.
In a university setting, thinking about patents and business development, which is needed to have impact, is almost, can I finish the sentence, is almost a no-go. It's considered a bit iffy. He wants to patent stuff, he wants to make business development. In an academic setting, it's considered a gray zone, whereas it should be the prime zone.
In Romania, if you remove the money we got from EU funding, if you want to know, actually the private companies are covering more than the budget the state itself is doing for research. So it's a different environment. The problem is the money are not enough for all the things that should be done. And if we look also to, you said that in other countries, more developed countries, it's still a problem who's going to replace the infrastructure, who's going to pay for this. I don't think that the European model is based on the private companies. Look at also on the PhD. In the United States of America, the industry says, what you are studying. Is this possible here? Not so much. I mean, there is no negotiation. I'm paying, I get this result. Now, if we look at the criteria we use for PhD and so on, number of I don't know how many publication. Industry is not working with publication. Let's get real. We don't give anything in as commercial secret in the newspaper, just then to have, in the second hour competition will work against. But I will take the opportunity to also give the floor to Mr. Felix Sadoki from Wing Computers.
Presentation. Okay. Until the presentation will start. My name is Felix Sadoki. I represent the company Wing Computer Group. What is Wing Computer Group? It's a company who tries to apply the new technology in real life, and we develop new strategy and new technology in energy, aeronautics, automotive, and also in health. And now I will present you one of our project in health. It's an automatic system for evaluation and interpretation of the simulated behavior for critical infrastructure. We develop two platforms. First platform is for indoor with control environment, and the second platform is for outdoor in real life. We acquire some parameters from our subject, and we manage to extract some features from some parameters to detect cognitive load, anxiety, depression, stress, and mental fatigue. Here we develop some algorithms to extract frequency, EEG frequency, theta, delta, beta, și delta. We acquired this signal in real time. We synchronize these signals from different part of the brain, and some signals from heart, blood pressure, oxygen saturation, and galvanic skin response, and also respiration to detect stress, anxiety, and depression. Here we also use some new technology from GTEC. For example, we use FNIR to detect where is the brain oxygen saturation is, where is the brain oxygenate. And also we extract parameters from video parts, such like micro expression, gestics, movements, and eye tracking. When we try to extract this parameter, we find out some problems with our algorithm. because they are, for the same person we receive different results. The main problem was the difference of environment. And such of this, we try to control the environment. We try to study also the air quality. For example, if we try to detect this parameter in environment with high CO2, we receive a different response when the room is more oxygenated. And after that, we try to detect it and to maintain it in center level of this parameter of environment. Here is our platform, the structure of our platform. Here are the parameters what we extracted. This is the parameter of video extraction, and after that we synchronize this parameter, and after that we anonymize the data and send it to a server to offline processing. We develop also a platform for creating a clinic for a physiologist to evaluate the patients. And the second platform is for real-time platform for evaluating in moving space. Is for minimum for a person to see the simulated comportment. We also extract some parameter from the patient, from the subject, to see if it's healthy and is not put it in danger. Here are some experiment what we did in develop of the project. Here are some video from cameras. I have a movie. And this is the architecture. Here we have the parameter for the patient. Here we have the parameter for video part. And all of that we receive a response if that in the real time. We have a delay for 15 seconds.
Okay.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. You can sit, please. I will now give the floor to Mr. Juan Arenas Marquez, Head of Elixir Project Management Office and European Genomic Data Infrastructure Development from Elixir Hub. He's online.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I guess I present the slides then.
Just a second. Okay, now we can also see you.
Okay. Let me see if I can show the slide. Okay. Can you see them?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So thank you for having me today. I just prepared a high-level presentation to give time to discussions and questions. So I'm just going to go through it. So I'm here to discuss a bit about the GDI and the 1+ initiative, also about what the CIL is doing in this space. For those that are not aware, I guess it will be reviewing this in this context. The 1+ Million Genome Initiative is a declaration signed by 26 countries to date, to provide secure access to high-quality genomic and health data across Europe for better research, prevention, personalized health care, and health policy making. That's the political declaration that the countries agree to pursue, and there is a plan on how this is going to happen. And there is a roadmap that is already in place, the 23-27, where we are supporting this scale-up and sustainability phase of this infrastructure. And it has different tracks, and you can access hopefully to the slides later. And it also involves a number of use cases, but I'm not going to enter into details in this moment. Of course, this cannot happen without funding. This shows the funding that has gone so far into this initiative, and it's a combination of European Commission and national funding. And connecting with some of the discussion I just heard before, this will establish a legal entity that will have a revenues model where incomes will come not only from national funding and the European Commission, but also through the exploitation of the data and the providing access to research and industry to take benefits of the data. In any case, let's move forward. This is what we are meant to do. Basically, what we're trying to do is to mobilize genomic and health data from healthcare system into a coherent way. So we provide high quality data to researchers, so new innovation can be generated and feed back into the healthcare. But as you can see, it doesn't stop there. This is the main focus of this project, but the whole point is also to connect this to other databases where this information can be linked, used, and be relevant. So we are not only working on integrating this infrastructure into the European health space, but also on how this can connect with other European data spaces that are in the making. Yes, the next slide. How do you make this possible is also through clear rules and a framework, like in this case, where you can find all what is required for industry, but also public sector to be able to connect and to benefit from this. We try to establish, agree on the standards, but then leave freedom for the implementation, because the national realities of every country is different, and the tools and the services and the capacity they have is different. But we need to provide a level play field where every actor can and contribute. And I think the final slide just to show what are we doing, particularly from Elixir in this space, where we are using our the funding that Elixir receives from the member states that are part of Elixir, at the moment 22 countries, to have a program that goes beyond human data. That is the main focus of the infrastructure that I just showed now. In this case, we are looking into biodiversity, food security, and pathogens, and we have a number of projects that are ongoing until 2028, where we aim to generate tools and services that then can be connected to really realize the One Health approach. I think that's my last slide.
Okay, thank you very much. We still have one presentation, then we take a question and just discuss. Mr. Bela Bihari, General Manager of EGNOSIS.
Can I get the presentation, please? So, I don't know how do you feel. I was following all day long the presentations and the interesting discussions, so you might be wondering, as a last speaker, how could I come out with a topic which could be put it in your attention. And yeah, we were talking about all the aspects of the biomedicine and the health. And one thing is always come back whenever we are talking about research. We heard earlier in the regulatory panel how critical it is to obtain quality data. And today I will talk my talk is about the future. The speakers earlier had a talk there about existing infrastructures, about existing projects. What I'm talking about is, I would say, a kind of future, a kind of vision of my company. I haven't presented myself. I'm Bela Bihari. I'm the manager of EGNOSIS, a Romanian SME. We are a technology provider. We are located in St. George. Beside the classical software development services, we are quite active in the R&D field in the healthcare and biotechnology. We are a member of ROHEALTH, and we are also official Microsoft partners. So as I said, acting in a couple of R&D projects in starting from 2019. Probably you cannot read it from the back, so don't worry, I will try to summarize it to better understand our motivation. We were participating in several R&D projects. The most of them are promising prototypes and studies about creating predictive tools using the artificial intelligence. Some of them are approaching the privacy-preserving, the cybersecurity topics, but we are building also virtual assistants, AI-assisted agents, and of course, earlier Harald mentioned about Repo4U, where we try to build an EU industry-level online platform, and here again we are an integrator and a technology provider, and in all of the cases, I observed something similar during the time, that the researchers here are struggling and are blocked in several cases to get access to the data. And access to high quality data is critical and crucial. And what are the typical situation? The typical situation, the project starts, and people are realizing that we don't have enough data, we don't have access to data, and so we start with screening programs are needed, which are often very slow. And what does this researcher does until the data arrives? Bioinformaticians are using alternatively, are starting to do their research by using synthetic data, which of course again has a higher risk that might be incomplete, might be biased, might lead to erroneous results. So the second situation, okay, the data exists but is too small set and is spread across multiple institutions located in different countries, so different regulations appears, and in such cases the bureaucracy is even higher, and it takes even more time. In concrete situation, in one of our projects, it took 18 months until we got access to real data. So this is again slows down research. Okay, good. We have the data. What about the quality? We see that the data coming from all over the world, from different data providers. First of all, we have to establish secure access to the data. We have to deal with data harmonization. And of course, in many cases, we have to do pre-processing work just to be able to have high quality data sets which is usable for researchers. So now, concluding all this, idea came in my mind, okay, how could we help those researchers? And last year, we decided to found a new project, the first European and East European private biobank, together with a private clinical partner, Provitam, located in central Romania, in St. George, and we as a technological partner and project lead, we will create, and of course funded by Romanian national funds and EU funds, we will create a virtual database network built on a federated approach and privacy by design architecture, and we promise to allow fast and collaborative research with primary focus on rare and autoimmune diseases. Okay, we have a limited time, we have a limited budget, we have to decide and we have to figure out which are the lowest hanging apples which we can collect and we can put immediately on the we can make available for researchers. So here, concretely, what we aim to do, we will conduct this again screening program by involving our clinical partner, and we create a collection. We will store and we will give access to high quality biological samples. Of course, we try to do it multiple times to achieve longitudinal data sets. And of course, we can focus only on two specific areas here, as I mentioned, rare and autoimmune diseases. What's new in all this topic, it's a digital network where later additional tiny private or even public institution may join. That's why we call it, we are building all this on a federated architecture. I will not enter in details, but anyone who is interested in the technical details, please reach me out, and I'm here. We can discuss it. And of course, we are promising to be full compliant with GDPR, AI Act, and fair data standards. Here, we would like to really save that precious time of researchers and allow them to get the data as fast as possible in an unbureaucratic way. The project in numbers, very quick, and this is, I think, I'm very proud of this. We could get funding for 240 man-months for researchers. So we are building here a research team just to get this architecture and just to get this project done. And as an SME, we are bringing our own money in the business, so it's not 100% funded. That's even puts even more pressure that we have concrete expectation. As I mentioned, from this budget, we have around 1 million for research. We will extend our existing infrastructure by creating the physical storage of the sample. This will be the current headquarter Egnosis will be extended. We are in Romania's first passive house office building. This will get a new wing. Beside this, we will have a lot of consultation. We will acquire services, how to do this, to be fully compliant with European biobank standards. And of course, we will also get some equipments. And anyone who is interested, the project was signed in the 1st of October. Now we are in 16th October, so 2 weeks since we signed it. Please scan this QR code, and if you want to support this initiative and to be an early technological or clinical partner in this story, feel free to join our network. And with that, thank you for your attention, and happy to take any questions. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Bela. So we finished the presentation, but we haven't finished the questions. So first of all, I would like to address a question to Mr. Felix Adoche and also Bela. How can emerging technologies such as AI or data analytics can enhance the operability of One Health infrastructure across sectors? Which one is the first?
Okay, so I'm warmed up, so I can continue in very quickly. We see that the interoperability and integrating systems, this gonna be crucial in the coming period, and it's already crucial. Not a single entity is capable to solve a single problem alone anymore. So we are looking for collaboration. As you can see from the presentation, the data harmonization, data interoperability, it's a fuel for the research. Whenever you have to interconnect different institutions, different disciplines even, because we are talking here already about a multidisciplinary industry even. So we have regulatory, we have scientists, we have technology providers, we have regulators. So interconnection and interoperability, to speak on the same language and to be able to interpret the data on the same way, I think it's crucial and top priority to solve.
Okay. Mr. Adoche, do you have something to add?
Our company is trying to collaborate with many universities and to make partners with different company and to apply what we building in university to be not to be only on papers, to all the people can benefit from our research. And this is I think is the main idea to develop new technology.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions from the audience or from online? If not, I still have one question. So can you share, and this is for everyone, one example of successful cross-sector collaboration in your field that could serve as a model for One Health infrastructures?
I start?
No, it's not for you, it's for the health research infrastructure, for the research infrastructures that presented previously. So one example of successful. Yes, please, Mrs. Cescu.
One example of cross-sectoral collaboration and the benefit of using cross-sectoral collaboration as, in fact, developing a solution for targeted treatment using the knowledge that we had from the part of the basic science that was related to synthesis of drug carrier, than using the higher valorization of existing resources that are in the Danube Delta and extracting active principles that are able to have a beneficial effect on the specific pathology, and ending with the validation of the product and coming to an end product that would be, or it is in the process of being transferred to an SMEs that will produce this kind of drug, of treatment. So it was a cross-collaboration between science and using partner, that is an SMEs. It was knowledge transfer. It is not only a technological transfer. I meant what I said. It's a knowledge transfer, because we trained them to think, to develop further new such kind of treatments.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Bella? I've seen you
well, I just mentioned it. So we have a successful collaboration in working closely together with the clinic, the private clinic. So we are a technology company. We are an IT technology provider. They are the clinicians. They know what kind of samples, how to store, how to they have their operating procedures. We are the technology provider, and I think this is not 1 + 1 = 2, but 1 + 1 is much more.
Okay. I have a question for Mr. Jacques Demont. Is still online with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So, how can we ensure that shared infrastructure is accessible to smaller institutions or regions with limited resources? Because usually the access to some of the research infrastructure is quite expensive, and if we add also the cost for regulatory and the cost for other needs, it's almost impossible to actually save a good idea in a startup. So what tricks do you have for your distributed infrastructure?
Yeah, thank you. Good question. I think we have to consider that there are different service models and there are different access models, meaning some infrastructure provide virtual services, and here there is no obstacle to access and there is no fees charged for access. For instance, this is the case if you want to access biosample, you can go to BBMRI and have a look at the the dictionary to understand where the samples you are interested in can be found. So the second service model and access model also is, for instance, what is done by Beatrice. They provide mostly consulting services, and so the consulting services have a limited cost, and the access is rather straightforward. There is no major limitation of access. A third model is the model of ECRIN, our model, which is a model of, let's say, of operational services. And here we have an access procedure because we want to have a look at the synopsis of the protocol before we get committed. But the objective of ECRIN, of course, running clinical trials is expensive, but it is less expensive if you do that with us when compared to the fee that would be charged by a commercial CRO and so on. So the objective is really to contain the cost, and also there are some funding mechanisms. So the first funding mechanism is the funding mechanism through application to Horizon Europe Health Priority Program, but there are also funding for the collaboration with the SMEs. For instance, you can apply to European Innovation Council funding, and especially the accelerator grant are adapted to the late clinical development for SMEs. And here the cost of working with the infrastructure is taken over by the EIC. And there is also another interesting funding scheme which is called the I3, which is an integrated innovation initiative. I don't remember exactly the meaning of this acronym. That is in which 50% of the grant should be allocated to Central European countries. And I think this is something also to be considered when you want to work with European research infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like also to hear Mr. Juan Arenas Marquez. He was with a hand up.
Yeah, I think it was for a previous question, but also I try to answer this one. So in our case, all the services that it provides are free of charge, except of the computational capacity that in some cases the country have internal policies where when external researchers or researchers outside the countries want to use the computational capacity, they have to make some contribution. But then on the data spaces that the Commission is starting to roll out, they will be open to anyone to access them. It's not that the access is restricted in any way. It's also open. It will be also open for third countries, not EU members, because at the end of the day, what the data spaces are trying to do is to provide high quality data to advance the science. So if there is a good idea from someone that is even not in the European area, but can benefit citizens at large, they should be supported. And there will be also funding models for researchers to get funded, but there will be some costs associated to that. It's not that these new data spaces are going to come without any associated cost for their asset, but they will be, or it's expected that there will be grants, at least initially, to cover the initial cost of accessing the data. That is basically also what the data space is going to do to put in place. You will be able to access all the health data in Europe, but there will be some associated cost because, as it was mentioned before, there is a cost on making data homogeneous so that the researchers can run the study the way that they want. Even if they don't ask for the full reimbursement of that amount, there will be some costs associated, but it's not in any way limited who can access the data. It depends on what you want to do with data, what is the purpose of the research that you want to run.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer. My last question, and if there is no one in the audience who wants to ask us, is for Bogdan. What role can a regional research hub play in scaling up to international One Health networks? In the meantime, keeping also the local health priorities.
I think it's always a challenge to balance
and merge it with the national priorities. Well, I mentioned the focus not that we have, and it used to be in the last decades, is I always use this metaphor. Like all the people I meet say, well, if I had a Ferrari, then I could prove I'm a Schumacher. And for many years, I believed that, truly. And then I gave a lot of Ferraris around, and there were no Schumachers. So now I changed my tune, and I said, well, if you believe that, then go and win the Dacia Cup, and then I'll buy you a Renault, and then I'll buy you a whatever. A more fancier car, and then you go up the steps. So aligning these priorities between what the international, let's say, the OECD, because it's nowadays we're trying to access the OECD. So the OECD countries, the well-developed countries, they have their own agenda and priorities. Romania is trying to mix and match that. Think about when we buy infrastructure, we need to use environmental friendly criteria. Like we just got out of the dark ages in terms of what we used to have in the labs. And now someone who's been having MRIs for the last 50 years is telling us, well, when you buy a new MRI, or the first one, you should look at the environmental friendliness of it. But to summarize, I think you can do that because the people that you have around you are well trained, are well traveled, and have a lot of knowledge. So they understand this. And of course, we don't put more emphasis on the environmentally, but rather on the specifics, on the data sheet of the equipment. But now we also take into consideration the little part of the, let's say, the OECD big picture of it. And if we do that, then of course we can do the work. And we can get there. We can get to Maastricht level. We can get to Brussels level. We can overpass Naples level. But we always also need to step up. And I'm not talking sort of in a nationalistic way, but rather to understand your national priorities. And when you discuss and when you negotiate, it's always a negotiation. You say, of course, I understand environmental is critical. But Romania has one of the largest wild forest areas in Europe. So maybe we're actually producing less carbon dioxide than other more developed countries. So let us focus more on developing our country to higher levels of research. So then when you put it this way, you can always find a negotiation lever, and you can put your national priorities into the international agenda. And I think this can work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are ready to close. For each of you, One Health in 2 words. Just 2 words, maximum 2 words. We start from Simona.
Attain goal. One Health should be an attained goal.
Attain goal. Okay, thank you. Next. Just pass it from hand to hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I say it 3 words?
No. No, negotiation started, Bogdan, as you can see. So.
Yeah, because I wanted to say invest in people. It's more important than infrastructure.
Okay.
Because they use infrastructure.
Interconnection, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Systemic thinking, which we don't do in the moment.
Bella? And that's
Visionary people and interconnectivity, data interconnectivity.
They used to say mind the gap when you step on a ladder or something. I would say mind the people.
Also for the online, please. 2 words representing One Health for you. Jacques and Juan, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here. I think in 2 words, I think cooperation between infrastructure is the support for One Health policies, One Health research policies.
Okay, and Juan?
Yeah, for me, should be a driving force. We need to break a lot of silos, particularly in the governance level, across all these data infrastructure to be able to generate real benefit for the citizens. And this is a very good target. to make it happen.
Okay, it's more than 2 words, but anyway. So, if there are no more questions, I'm really happy to have you all here. Thank you very much for being here with us so late. I mean, here it's late. In other countries, not so late. And let's keep this community together. Since it's the second time we met with the Repado project, so I can hardly wait to see how your network will evolve. And of course, if you need any contacts, all the presentation will circulate online, so don't worry, everyone will have access to them. So you can contact our speakers directly. And don't forget about Friday, when you actually have the chance to have meetings with them. So go in the platform, book meetings, and be present for the Friday day. It's all-day brokerage event. Thank you very much.
Thank you.